everyone, it's Veronica. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be doing something that I think is going to be more on the elegant side, but simple. And it's not only its look, but what's going to bring out the amazing part of this is its sparkles. So if any of you have anything that will sparkle, if you have glass pearls, go ahead and grab them because we can do this together. And also, as a reminder, there is going to be a giveaway for the 30,000 subscribers, and I think we're probably at 29.1, so we might have about 900 more to go. So if you are somebody who has stumbled across this video, if you are somebody who is new to jewelry and you have not subscribed, certainly go ahead. So that we can, put your name in for the drawing to win that giveaway when we hit 30,000 subscribers. Also, if you have not commented, certainly give a comment because that certainly helps our channel get recommended. So again, as a reminder, you can comment about pretty much anything, whether it's the pieces that we make, the great conversations that we have, the questions that we might ask you that you want to answer, that you would like to answer, and certainly if you have any questions for us, please put them in the comment section. I do want to let you know that I have responded in the comment box, but for some reason, most of them have not even stuck. I don't know what is going on with YouTube. I don't know if some of these subscribers, or maybe not subscribers, commenters are bots. So if they are bots, I don't think a comment actually can stick and shown as a reply to that. It gets bounced out of there. So that could be going on as well. If you have erased your comment or deleted it, but yet somehow it's still showing up, that will also, fail to have a reply stick. So if you are a real subscriber, you're not a bot, obviously. You will find that a reply should be given in any of your questions. If I'm unable to give any answers, because I have not been able to get in there to answer your questions, I will try to remember to ask them or to answer them on my next video. So let me just answer a couple now. There are people who ask me where I get my stuff. I simply, at this moment, I will mostly go to Amazon. They are a marketplace. And that means that they are pretty much a platform where a lot of small businesses will come in, even bigger businesses will come in and utilize a space there to present their goods. Okay, so kind of like what you would have out on the street back in the old days when there was no technology. There was all kinds of vendors or people selling their fruit. The next one would be selling their baskets. The next one would be selling their handmade shirts and blankets and things that they have done. And so that's the marketplace, okay? And this is a digital marketplace. You still get goods, it's just that everything is done electronically, and I think most of you understand that. So Amazon itself is basically a platform. I could say more about that, but we're just going to leave that to maybe some other day. But anyway, so that's a lot where I get my stuff. There are individual places like artbeads.com. I do try to leave all that information, like artbeads.com, any other place that I might buy something, I will definitely leave a link to that. But most of the stuff is Amazon, and you could just go into Amazon and type in their search box. If you are looking for, earring holder displays, just simply put that in there and you will get a slew of types. And so you might be interested in the ones that I have. Chances are those will pop up for you, okay? Because I do try to leave Amazon links to those comments as well, and those don't even stick. So I have no idea what's going on. I don't know if it's because I don't own Wendy's channel, so perhaps Amazon is recognizing that it's coming from another IP address and it just gets booted out. I don't know. So, yeah, there's not a whole lot that I can do to answer a question with any links that I might have. I will try to send Chris all the links, because I think when he uploads it that way he can. But again, it's very easy most of the time to find any of these things that I have just going to Amazon. If there's something specific and you can't get it on Amazon, or I need for you to, if you want to get them, and I will leave that specific link. So anyway, let's get this camera turned around and let's begin this beautiful project. But of course, I will start with the precious word of the day, and I'll be right back.
Okay, I'm back, and I definitely want to start with this. First of all, if some of you feel lost, you feel like you don't know where to turn, you truly don't understand why things are not going well in your life, or you think that things are going to satisfy your soul, one thing for sure is those things never will, because they perish. So, you know, the Word of God speaks of those things, that you don't put your trust in things because they perish. So you put your trust in what is eternal. Our Heavenly Father is eternal, and everything about Him is eternal. And those are the things that He gives you that will never perish. He was, He is, and always will be. So for those of you who are lost and you have not come to our Lord and Savior Jesus, you know, don't wait. We don't want any of you lost. Jesus doesn't want any of you lost. He is practically kicking down doors to save that one, leaving the 99. So I want to open with this. If you remain in me and my words remain in you, ask whatever you wish and it will be done for you. And these are words from Jesus. And this is from the book of John, chapter 15, verse 7. His words are true. He doesn't make promises that He does not keep. So, and what is here, it says that if you remain in me and my words remain in you. And this is something that surpasses all understanding, the things in which that I have talked about before. So let's get this project going, and we'll go from there. Okay, everyone. So here is the parts that I'm going to use. Let's see. This here, it's a clasp. You guys have probably seen it. It's probably one of the oldest clasps that they've had around. So I'm going to use that because this is, you know, it's dainty. So I want to use something dainty. A couple of jump rings. I'm going to have a head pin here. I have an 8mm. These are just glass pearl in the pearl color. These are 6mm. Right here. These are 5mm. I did measure them. Okay. And I just have an extension here. One second. I'll put that away. I have an extension here. If you don't have something like this, this is just something that I got from a chain. If you don't have something like that, you can use, you know, coreana chain and just grab yourself some of the crimp beads so that you can, you know, put some clamshells to make the connection, because we are going to wire this. And I want to show you the wire. I am going to show you how I did this. And this is how the wiring is going to look. So this is what I did, and this is the part. So this is actually, it's like a 3-hole connector. And so that's what that looks like. Well, I put some wire in there because I want this to be where the chain is going to connect. And then I'm going to have the dangles here. So I will show you how I did that. Okay, I have some 4mm. These are, let me see if I can find it. These right here. Let me show you up close. These are amazing. And they have like a light shimmer to it. These are 4mm. They are check drux or drux, some people may call them. And they are just absolutely stunning to look at. When I bought them from artbeads.com, as you can see here, that is what they are. So when I got them, I was absolutely more pleasantly surprised as to what they looked like than they did in the picture. So they do have some amazing beads there. And so we're going to have 6 of those. I had these here because I wanted you to see them. Look at how pretty that is. I mean, they look like you could eat them. They're so cute and they're so pretty and just scrumptious looking. So we are going to have 6 of those. I have 9 of my, these are the Austrian 4mm Preciosa. So as you can see, the beautiful shimmer and shine and flash on those. And they are AB, which is Aurora Borealis. That's what the AB stands for. And I have 9 of those. And this is what they are. So I have the 4mm, so you can see the 4 there. And I have them also in the 3mm. And these were on Amazon, and they were under the Adabel.com. So they have charms and beads and cabochon, gemstone and pearl and glass, jewelry making supplies, fine and fashion jewelry. So I just thought that the price was absolutely amazing for these. I mean, they're just perfect. These are right there with Swarovski. They are well made, even on both sides. They don't have the chipping and all that stuff. The holes are beautiful. See if I can get up close. They're centered, and they're not all choppy and sharp. These are absolutely gorgeous. And look at that yellow that's in there. Oh my goodness. Absolutely amazing. Stunning. Okay. And so what I'm going to do is I want to use 20 gauge here. On the crystals here, because they are expensive and they're delicate, I'll probably use a 22 gauge and do a wire, I guess a wire wrapped loop. So these here I will be using either a 20 or an 18, and I think it's a 20 because the 18 may not go through that. Let me see if I got an 18 gauge here. Let me just test it. Sometimes you have to pop through because sometimes the coating that's on there. Now you can, but it is kind of tight. So I'm going to go with the 20 because I don't want to take the chance of that much pressure. And yeah. So again, these are 6, these are 5, this is an 8, these are 4mm, these are also 4mm. And so we can begin. I'm probably going to use some of my stainless steel chain. Oh, I gotta tell you, every time I feel this, it is just so soft, so well made, and it's very, very tiny. And I just like that because it's delicate. So what I'm going to do is make these and then see if I need any more. This is going to be a necklace, of course, that will go right, probably sit right on top of the collarbone, and the dangles will literally come down right to the center of your sternum, because it is something that clearly, if you're going to wear a wedding dress or off the shoulder prom dress or evening gown or something like that, I think it's great to have it at that length and not just hanging down so low. And I think at some point too, I'm going to try to create some earrings, and it might include those posts that I made the other day. All right, so I am going to show you how to do the wrap, just a simple loop for these. I'll do a wrap loop, okay, and then I will then show you this on how I created the wiring here, okay? All right, so let me just get a couple of pieces, because the rest I will do offline, off of camera. All right, so I'll be right back. All right, so I'm going to show you the simple loop, which I am going to use with this 8mm and the 6 and the 5mm, the 4mm Preciosa, and the 4mm of the Czech Drux, the what do they call them? The light shimmer crystal. Okay, those I will do the little wraps. So I will show you a wrap loop and a simple loop. Okay, say that like 5 times fast. So essentially you just want to come, and you don't need this. If you were to do a wrap loop, you would do that, but we are just doing the simple wrap. So you want to come in and hold that, and this is hard enough, so you want to make sure you hold tight, because you don't want to crack your bead. Now, if you have to and you can't use your hands, what you can do, trying to find my flat nose. Hold on. Okay, I found him. All right, so what you can do is make sure that this is all the way down at the bottom. You can go right up against the bead, but then you're going to come up a little, okay, and bend. Get that bent over, okay? And then you can snip where you need to snip. I'm going to use, this is tough, so I'm going to actually use my memory wire cutters here. Okay. And come in. Let's see. All right, right about there. Take the round nose pliers. And if you already have your tools marked, you can use that. Mine has already faded away. Slightly. Okay, and then I'm going to come, and you probably get a little bend because it's not that easy. So I will make sure that I get that straightened up. As you can see, look at that. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's come back here and give that a little bend backwards. And then come in and close up your loop. It still wants to wobble around on me. Okay. Okay, we have one here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to grab another 8mm because I want to do, actually, I'm going to do a ball head pin. And I think because it will, I think it might give it that more delicate look. So let me just grab a ball head pin, and we'll just do a a wrapped loop on that because it is thinner. Okay. So I got myself a ball head pin. So I'll show you a simple loop better than that last one. That was a little hard there. So yeah, if you want to come in and just, you know, go to the end, you don't need to have a lot of space, because the space between the bead and the top of this is where all the wrapping is going to take place. And so if you go all the way down here, you're going to be wrapping and wrapping and wrapping forever, and it doesn't look good. So unless you're doing it for a particular purpose, then you want to make that space and minimize it as much as possible, okay? So just come to the end of that, and then you just bend that over, bring your tool up, and then come around. Again, you don't need a humongous loop. Okay. Now you can decide if you want to connect it to the bottom here, but I am going to be doing simple some wrap loop for the preciosa. Okay. So we will make the connections with the wrap loop here, and this is a 22 gauge here. So we're going to go ahead and complete this wrap. Okay, so we'll go ahead and hold on to this. Just want to bring that over just a wee bit more. And then I'm going to go ahead and take this and wrap around. And because it's thin, this is another reason why you want to make sure you don't have a humongous space. Because it's thin, you'll be going around probably 4 times, even on the smallest end of your flat nose, I mean on your round nose pliers that you used. Okay, so now you're going to turn that around, and I want to make sure. All right, so I'm going to come in here and snip. Come right in there, and just be careful you're not going to snip your loop, okay? And then you can just go ahead and tuck that in. Okay, so now you have your little tiny loop, okay? And then you can put that aside. Now I'm going to show you with the 20 gauge. That's my 22. This is my 20. That one is, this is the 22. And I know that some of you have asked about the difference in gauges and things like that. I am trying to gather some information because I want to give, try to, give as much information as I can on that. But basically, the higher the number, okay, the skinnier the wire is, the thinner it is, okay? So as you can see, this is a 20 gauge. I'll give you an example now. So this is a 20 gauge, and this is a 22. You can see the difference, and this is an 18. Put that up against there, and it's much stiffer too. So you have 20, this is 18, this is 20, and this is 22. Okay, so you can see that the 20 is slightly bigger than the 22, and this is the 18, and it's very hard. So the diameter, now these are the ones that most people use, and then you get like 28 gauge, you get 24 gauge. Those are usually for doing weaving, wire weaving. So with a 18 gauge, I had already printed out something here. So the 18 gauge in inches in the diameter is 0.0403. In millimeters, that would be, on an 18 gauge, is 1.02 millimeter. And I know most of us deal with millimeter when it comes to beads, so that might be easier for you to understand. For a 20 gauge, it's 0.81. So 20 gauge usually fits through most bead holes, except probably, pearls that are made with very, very tiny, tiny holes. 22 gauge is 0.65. So we usually use those. And then, of course, if you're at 12 gauge, it's 2.05 millimeters. That's thick, and that's very, very tough. 28 gauge is 0.33 millimeter. So as you can see, people will use 28, even 26 gauge as in wire weaving. 24, it's a little stiffer. And then of course you have your dead soft, your half hard, and then your full hard. So, if you want to be able to do wire weaving, you have to go with dead soft. Some people will go with half hard on a smaller gauge. That depends on how experienced they are and that their hands are used to manipulating the wire. All right, so we're going to go with the 20 gauge. I'm going to show you a simple loop. Okay. So go grab your wire straighteners and just straighten out. Now, because they are simple loops, you don't need as much as you would with a wire wrapped loop. Okay. So this is small, so I don't need a whole lot. So I want to make sure that I cut that, get about 1.25 inches. And I want to make sure that it's flush on both sides. It may cut, but just in case. And just like what I've done before, is I've just taken, and you can make your loop whatever size you want. This is a delicate necklace, so I don't want huge loops. Okay. So you just come around, make the P, and then come back with your round nose pliers, and then you go right to line it up right where that one ends, and then just bring it up. Okay. And then just straighten anything out if it gets crooked. Okay. And you'll be able to close that gently when you go to put these things together. Okay, now you're going to go ahead and put it on your 6 millimeter or whatever one, 5 millimeter. And so with these, they are going to be in opposite directions. Okay, just like we did with the tassel, the turquoise and tassels. Okay, if you haven't seen that video, you can go take a look at it. I did the unboxing and I put the necklace together for you. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and just take that, make sure it's all the way down, and then you could bend it forward, bend it back, whatever you're comfortable with. And this is where we're going to go ahead and snip. And again, this is where you might want to mark your tools so that you know that you are getting the exact same loop every time. Okay. And you just come around and make your loop. And then the way we want to make sure that they are directly opposite each other is just hold gently on one side and keep losing that flat nose. It just doesn't want to stay here. Okay, so you want one up and one directly down. Okay. So if they look exactly one up and one sideways, then you're good. So that one is done. Okay. All right, so now we are going to do a wrap loop one more time with one of these. So I have the 22. Okay. So I'm going to go in here with my round nose pliers. Okay, and I'm going to probably go about a third way down and bend that over. And again, we don't need huge loops. I'm going to bend that over. I hope you guys can see this because sometimes the camera wants to go out of focus. So I'm going to come over and around and then just shimmy it up. Okay. I'm going to hold on to that. This is where I have my tape and my, I think it's that magic glue or something. I don't know what it is. Okay, and then we're going to go around 3 times. Oops. It's the slip. Give it a good grip. Two. And 3. 3 good ones. All right, so I'm going to snip that off, but again, once I get it on the bead, then I will tuck it in, because to try to take it off now, it'll just keep spinning around on me, okay? And then just double check, make sure everything is straight. And all right, now we can go ahead and add this. And then we're going to go right to that bead. Now again, this is going to be opposite, and we can make that adjustment if it's off slightly. So just go to the very end. Okay, bend that over, bring that up, and go to your spot. Okay. And then bring that up. I'm going to hold it with this one because I don't want any problems with this thing slipping. Okay. We will make our adjustments in a second. Okay, and we should be able to go around 3 times. That space with the end of the 1, 2, and 3. Look at that. All right. You'll get used to it. So if you're new, don't get, too frustrated, because you will get used to this. You will start to see how your tools work, your measurements that you prefer. Okay, then we can come in here. And now we can tuck. I am going to use the smaller one. Okay. Because I don't want to crack this bead. Make sure that's not sticking out. Okay, so now I can go on back on this side and tuck this side in. Be careful that you are not grabbing onto your bead. Okay, so now I want to check to make sure they are opposite. And just make your adjustments, okay? Okay, so there's your simple loop. there's your wrapped loop for both ends and a wrapped loop for a dangle with a ball head pin. This one's definitely going to be, I prefer that little ball head at the end over the flat end, just because everything kind of has that roundness with everything, so I figured have a little teeny round thing on the bottom of that as well. All right, so I am going to get the rest of these done. I'll be back to show you how to do this. So on the camera, it'll be a second. For me, it'll be a while because I really want to get this done. So I'll be right back. All right, everyone, I'm back. And I got all my pieces with their, I guess, their loops. And so now I'm here to show you how to do this design here. Of course, I'm going to be adding, actually, I think what I'd like to do is I want to add, you know, a little bead up here. So we can always put that bead here. I've already put the dangles together. So let me show you. So with the 8mm, I just added a 4mm jump ring with the wire wrapped Australian bicone there. Austria. Okay. And then the ones for the other two sides, I have that shimmery crystal druck here. All right. And then, of course, I have, as you can see over here, I have them ready to go. And I did mark my round nose plier here. As you can see, I remarked it. I'm hoping that there's no issues with length and that I checked to make sure they were all equal. So even just if something's off a little bit, it will definitely make a difference in the necklace. So if it does happen to end up that way, I will just go back and readjust it off camera. There's, you know, I don't need to be fussing with that. So here with this, we're going to start with I have two 18 gauge and I have one 20 gauge. The 20 gauge is going to go in the center. We're going to start with the outside here. So essentially, all you want to do is make sure both ends are flush. Okay. Let's move these out of the way so you can see. And if you can see this, I don't know if I showed that up close, but there's some rhinestones in there. It's kind of neat. And so that center hole is pretty large. And that's the reason why I want the bead. All right, so we're going to start with the 18 gauge. And you want to just make sure you can make the loops a little bit bigger. You don't want them too small because we're going to put our dangles there. So I'm going to go past that. Okay, past my mark here. I'm going to go right about there. It's kind of where I want that. I am just going to make that P. Okay. And that's all I'm going to do. All right. So from here, I'm hoping this one's long enough. So from here, you're just going to go through the bottom, okay? And you want it to be facing out. It's going to flip around, but when you start to put on your dangles and your chain and everything, or your components and stuff, you want to make sure that it's facing in that direction. So what I'm going to do is hold that, okay? Just like that. And I am just going to bend it right over that wing. Okay, and you could just kind of follow that wing. Okay, and now you're probably going to do, you really want to do a nice finger width and a little bit more, because when you bring that loop around, you just, like this one, they're going to be bigger than the ones on the bottom, of course, and you want to bring it so it just reaches towards the end of that See that end of the wing here, okay? So hopefully we won't miss the mark here. So I am going to so I'm going to come in with the round nose pliers. We're just going to make another P. And that should, so even if it's out a little bit, as long as if you do the other side, it looks the same. So this is pretty much lining up with the very edge instead of slightly over, okay? So I kind of like that too. All right, we're going to do the same thing to the other side. And that's already flush. Get my round nose. And you kind of want to make it more of a teardrop, I suppose. And not quite so rounded. Okay. All right, we're going to do the same thing. And just when you're looking at it, just see if there's any, if it's really like way off in the size and stuff. So you can always eyeball it and see how it looks compared to the other side. So if one looks a little bigger than the other one, then just make your slight adjustments, whatever you need to do, okay? All right, so here, same thing. Bring that towards the outer and hold on to it, and then follow that wing. Okay. And then just kind of do a loose finger width plus. Oops, sorry, I hit my camera. Sorry, I'm just out of frame here for a second. I'm not really doing anything, but trying to straighten my it's probably right about there. And again, you give yourself enough leeway here to make any adjustments. So I'm going to come in and make my P. Now obviously one is bigger, way off, and that's okay. So now we have to make our adjustments, okay? So that is something we can just pull back out a little. Cut off what you need. And then come back in, okay? If you have to adjust the other side slightly, then you can do that too. I think that's what I'm going to do, just a teeny weeny bit. So I'm going to come in here, take a tad off. And this way then I can bring that in. Now as you can see, it looks a little more uniform. Just make your adjustments as you go along. If you feel like, because I'm kind of like a perfectionist or an even Steven kind of thing. So yeah, I have to make sure that things are a little bit more uniform. Okay. All right, so as you can see, we have that. Okay. And just, you know, you don't have to be so hard on your wires. And if you feel like you need to adjust down here, something's a little off. Okay. Now for the center here, what I'd like to do is, I didn't want to do a swirl. So what I'm going to do is, did I want to do that? Yeah, I'm just going to take and do this like what I'll do with an my own head pin. But it's going to be at the top. So, and then just come in and squish that. Need something to grip it with. 1 second. It's going to spin around. All right. Okay, so I just made my little head pin at the end like I do. And then you could either put on one of your bicones or you can do the little ball. So I'm going to choose to do the little light shimmer ball here. Okay, now we're going to come down through the center. Okay. Now we're going to bring that down. Now we're going to just do it like we would do a normal loop, like you were running it through a bead. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and bend that. Okay, and this, of course, you can make any size you want. Hopefully I can get in here with no problems. I'm going to try to make a pretty big loop here. I'm going to have to work it because the other things are in the way. Just little by little. All right. And then you can just straighten it all out. Okay, now we can lay it down. Move that out. And there is your center. Now let's get the whole necklace together. All right, I'm going to come back out because it's not easy staying in frame. All right. So here in the center, now because they are just simple loops, you can open them up and connect it that way, and or you can add a jump ring if you want. So I think I'm going to just go ahead and open these up gently. I could open that one too, but I'm going to open up this one because it's an 18 gauge. It's a little more sturdy. And hang that right on there. I'm going to come to the center. Okay, I'll try to remember which is the opening. Okay, here it is. But I do want to make sure this is kind of... All right, here we go. And we're going to add the big one in the middle. and then go to the other side. Let's see. Oh my, look at that already. Isn't that pretty? Look at how pretty that is. Oh my goodness. So we have two. I'm going to have to make something with that, or maybe an earring. Who knows? That'll be kind of heavy though. With all the 18 gauge and all the other beads and stuff. So, all right. So we got that. Let's get these together. So I have it where, let me come back a little. So I have it so that I'm going to do it like these here. So it's like every other one. Sorry, my sweatshirt's in the way. It's chilly and I can't turn my heat up too high because it's very dry and I get bloody noses and I just can't handle it. That's why it's like I kind of don't like turning on the heat too high in the vehicle. And or because I get dried out and it's horrible. It's a horrible feeling. All right, let's see if I got this right. And so there's smaller ones here. And like I said, we're going to, once we measure this, if we need to add the coreana chain, we will definitely do that. And so basically this is what it is. And then here, I know you can't see the whole thing just yet. All right, so what I'm going to do, so basically what you want to do is connect here. Just keep connecting them. If you want to use jump rings in between, go ahead. But I think with the fact that they are, in opposite directions, it helps a lot on them getting, preventing it from getting stuck. But if you feel you need to add some tiny jump rings, go for it. So I'm going to put these together and then we'll do the clasp and we'll be done. All right, everybody, I measured and I cut 3 3/4 each of the coreana chain, and guess what I found? These right here are so tiny. They're even smaller than those tubes that I had with the that I was going to use, and I said I changed my mind on my last video. Well, right here, this is so tiny. This coreana chain will go into it, but the neat thing about this is that in the center, these are one of those where it's a crimp. So you squeeze the very center of that. This thing is so tiny. And in fact, I got these from Wendy. I purchased, her little tiny bead caps. I got the tiniest, where are they? Right here. These are like the book clamshells. They open this way instead of that way. So I haven't used them because they're so tiny I can't even see them. So I have to, I'm glad I got this smaller coreana chain. So I may practice on a couple of them, but these I got from Wendy as well. So I kind of like bought her tiny little, these are clamp ends or clasp ends or whatever, chain ends. And these tiny little, I gotta pull this out so you guys can see. It is so, so tiny. And in fact, the seed beads would be extremely large for this. So you're better off. I mean, look at that. You're better off like using glue or a knot on, your like Eslon or whatever, tiny little beading thread. But yeah, that's a clamshell that opens like a book. And I think I remember Wendy actually was showing them on one of her videos, I believe. And that's when I went to her website and purchased a bunch of stuff from her. So yeah, so I'm going to use these on each end and then just put the clasp on. So I think that'll work out, because we can just take a jump, you know, one of the smaller jump rings and put them here, or we could just connect it right to that loop that's already on there. So I'm so excited. All right, so I'm going to put those jump rings aside because we're going to use those as part of the clasp. So I have to use the very tiny end of that, and I hope it fits in there. So let's see. Oops. I have so much stuff here. I got to rearrange it this weekend. All right, let's see if I can come in. Let's get my... try to stay in frame. So it's the center that we squish like a crimp bead. All right, so I'm going to put that coreana chain in there. So as you can see, it goes all the way through, but we don't want that. We want to just come right there. Oh my. Boy, these are tough. These are really good. So I'm going to flip it this way. So that should be in there, yeah. So I'm just going to double check. Squish. Squish. Let's see if I can get my things in here to just snip off that end. If not, I might have to take a file or something. Wow, I'm just so excited that I was just over there, and I'm like, they've been sitting over there because I had sealed them. You know, cleaned them and sealed them and everything. I completely forgot about them. They've been sitting over there for about 2 weeks. Okay, good. We got, oh yeah, we got it. All right, so I can come out. Let's see. Do the same thing on this end. So it's just a matter of holding these, getting it right where you need it, and then putting the other end of the chain. All right, so this one's good. This one will only go so far. I'm gonna make sure that's in there. Let's see. Yeah, so you gotta go with the tip here. And these ones are a little bit stronger. Okay, so I have 2 of those. Now I'm going to put on the clasp, and if I need to put on an extender, that's very easy to do. Just go grab, you know, a chain with a few links on it and add it with a jump ring. And so, but for now, I just want to get this necklace together, get it up on my necklace bust, and we'll be good to go. All right, so let's see. I think what I'm going to do is actually just add to here without the jump ring, because I can always make the adjustment later if I need to. Let's see, it's this end here. All right, now this is the back, so this would be my right hand, so I'm going to go ahead and add 2. This one's already open, so I can add that. Same thing, it's got a nubby, so just put it, you know, in the upward position. And then we're going to go here. Oops. I lost it. There it is. Wow, that was so easy. Oh, I don't know. I know that they're supposed to have that sale for Wendy's stuff. So maybe I can purchase some, because the sale, I guess, is on December 2nd. It's going to be on Facebook, I guess. Okay, everyone. I'm going to go get it on the bust, and I'll just make any other adjustments later on and be wearing it, because I want to make sure that it just looks pretty, and if I need to add an extender or anything else, I will definitely do that later. All right, give me a second.
Okay, everyone. As you can see, I got different earrings on, but I did want to let you know before I show you the other piece, or the finished piece, that I am going to be leaving links in the show notes that I'm going to be handing to Chris. So if you look in the comment or the description box below, you'll see that any links that I will leave you for the products that I leave, because I know that a lot of you ask where I get my stuff. And so I did find the link for the Coreana chain, and that link will be there. And if you have any other requests, you know, certainly leave a comment, and I will try to get those links for you, because clearly YouTube's not letting me leave them in the comment section. So they should be able to show up in the description box. Okay, everyone? All right. And here is the finished product. All right, everyone, this is the final piece here, or I should say the finished piece. And so as you can see how everything falls so lovely, and it is so even, and that is of course due to how the loops are done equally. And yeah, so, and there is our centerpiece. And again, you know, if you are going to make anything like this, you know, you don't have to make it exactly like this. You can add all kinds of different dangles. You can make it longer. You can make it shorter. You can add more. It's totally up to you. The creativity is yours. And I just wanted to keep it a little simple and not too crazy, because, you know, it is a beautiful piece, and it can be worn for, you know, a wedding, a prom, a special night out. You know, so I just think that this is something lovely to wear. It's lightweight. So with something like this, it's probably best that you find a, you know, have a connector on the back and a weightier bead, so that it keeps that clasp
in the center of the back so that none of this slides sideways. That is definitely a suggestion I think would be worth doing on this kind of necklace. So everyone, I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that you have a wonderful evening and the rest of your week. And December is literally right around the corner. So have a great night, and God willing, we will see you again on another video. Bye-bye, everyone.